So mag-hi lang po ako dun sa mga tao na kapapasok lang, no? Mag-hi tayo kay Brenda. Good afternoon po, watching from Caloocan. Ayan, loud and clear. Janet Trinidad Lumayag, calling from Cagayan de Oro. Mabuhay ka, Miss Janet. Hello. Sino pa ang, ayan, malinaw po ang lahat. Maraming salamat. Yes. Si A. Hipolito. Good afternoon from Philippine Veterans Affairs Office. Ayan, mabuhay po kayo. So I'm gonna share my screen para makita po natin if everything is working well, no? Tapos sabihin niyo po sa akin kung okay po ba ang aking, nakikita niyo po ba ang mga slides? Ayan. O diba nawala yung chat box? Ayun. Alright. Okay, good afternoon, Marina. Hello, Marina. Magandang hapon. Jade Veloso, King Jam from Villasis, Pangasinan. Ayan. Marina, nice seeing you again here. Hello. Oh, meron pa tayo. John Lester Noel Ferolino, calling from Davao. Sige, malinaw po ba ang aking slide? Kita po ba natin? Ayan, malinaw po, working properly. Buti naman, kasi alam nyo na, di ba minsan bigla na lang pong naghahang yung computer ko, luma na kasi. Okay, sige, so siguro, for people who are already on the screen, no, or kasi I saw that there are 130 people dialed in. Okay, 130 people dialed in. I wanna do a quick demographic check, right? So I'm going to launch a poll. Ayan. Nakikita niyo po ba ang poll, ating mga mga followers ng PSTD? Para po magka-idea kami kung gaano po kalaki ang demographic, for example, ng mga talent developers, ilan po dito ang educators, ilan ang technical trainers. Where are you calling from? Are you calling from Luzon, Visayas, or Mindanao? Para makita rin po natin yung diversity if ever lumalaki na po. Kasi alam niyo po, ang atin pong objective is hindi lang makapag-deliver ng learning sa Luzon or sa Metro Manila, no? Ang objective po natin is makapag-deliver po ng learning at saka po ng mga sessions sa nationwide. So maraming salamat po sa inyong pagdalo. Kung nakikita nyo, well, hindi nyo pa siguro nakikita, no? Pero dun sa mga sumasagot, 23% na kaagad yung educators. So makikita mo ang final number mamaya-maya, Lisa. Tapos yung others are 42%. I think it's because this is a mix of people who are HR practitioners but probably don't have training functions or probably not have training functions or probably not HR practitioners themselves. Where are you calling from? 72% Luzon, 28% Mindanao. Wala po ba tayong Cebu? Wala tayong Cebu today at mga taga Visayas. So alam na natin, Luz, kung sino yung mga sunod na hahatakin, no?
We have chapters there, right?
Tama, we have chapters also in Davao. So I'm gonna show the polls, ha? I'm going to end the poll and share the results. Ayan. Kita niyo po ba ang results, Lisa and Luz?
Yeah, interesting.
Yes, very clear.
Ayan, very clear. So ang results po natin ay 20% who are calling in our educators, 6% are technical trainers, 8% are soft skills trainers, tapos 17% are managers, 45% are other positions. Majority are calling from Luzon. That's 71%, tapos 29% in Mindanao. Okay, sige. So ibig sabihin, marami po ang trabaho na gagawin natin sa volunteers at professional team para makadami tayo sa Visayas. Huwag po natin silang iiwan. Okay. Sige po, I'm going to continue on with the briefing, no, since I have 5 minutes left before I endorse to Luz. As you know, we're doing this as a very important service for the country and also for the organization. PSTD is a non-profit organization whose community is around learners, community of educators, teachers, trainers, etc. Facilitators, mentors, coaches. So una, ginagawa po natin to para makatulong sa community, sa ating mga miyembro, sa ating komunidad. Kasi po, alam niyo po, medyo mahirap naman po yung pinagdadaanan natin dahil sa krisis. Pangalawa, gusto po nating mag-survive ang PSTD, no? So, kailangan po natin ng programs at mga pondo at makikita niyo po kung ano yung ginagawa natin to be able to raise some money. Sa ating pong pagkakatala, meron na po tayong 27 classes na nagagawa sa ating mga activities just in a span of 1 month and 1 week. So mabuhay po kayo. Maraming salamat sa inyong pag-attend sa mga classes. Yan po ay 7,940 na Zoom live attendees. Kung i-convert nyo po ito into peso value at an average rate of 500 pesos per webinar, we have given a service worth almost 4 million pesos to different parts of the country, mainly because you have attended it. You have felt the impact of these programs. Napakadami po. Nakita niyo po ang dami pong mga teachers, no? Maraming salamat po doon sa mga teachers na nagulat po kami tumaas yung ating attendance sa ating mga guro. Tuloy-tuloy nyo lang po yan. At gusto rin po namin malaman nyo na hindi po tayo hihinto sa pag-curate ng mga programs. So kung nakikita nyo po ang screen ko ngayon, next week, so ngayon po sila Lisa at sila Lisa at sila Louie Banta. Next week po, yung mga natutunan nyo to be able to self-evaluate or self-reflect on yung posisyon nyo ngayon, pinanggalingan nyo ngayon, mga issues at problema nyo ngayon. Next week, you are going to translate that into brand. As you know, yung ating pong mga nangyayari sa paligid, unprecedented, no? So kahit po sabihin nyo na expert kayo in one thing, it does not mean that you are an expert on it right now because of what has happened. So i-mobilize nyo po yung brand nyo, i-mobilize nyo po kung ano yung strength nyo, especially po kung kayo ay nawalan ng livelihood. Diba? Sinabi po nila around 2 million people and going more na mawawalan ng trabaho because of all of these things that are happening. Gamitin nyo po itong trainings na ito para makatulong po sa inyo. Libre po yan. Okay? Marami pa po tayo sa June at sa July po, magpo-focus po tayo sa ating mga guro. So sa mga guro po na nandito, please say hi. Magpo-focus po tayo sa inyo. We are going to do a nationwide sprint on training needs analysis. This is going to happen 1 week from now. We're just meeting with the core group. Pero ang focus po natin is makapag-training needs analysis sa ating mga teachers. At yung mga training needs analysis na yun, gagamitin po natin sa maraming bagay. Una, gagamitin po natin sa pag-design ng mga programa na i-offer sa inyo sa July. Pangalawa, gagamitin po natin para i-submit sa gobyerno para makatulong po dun sa mga needs na kailangan i-address. Pangatlo, para po sa inyo, malaman nyo rin po kung ano yung mga needs ng inyong mga kapwa-guro pag sumali po kayo dito. So please, hatakin nyo po yung inyong mga co-teachers, i-follow nyo po ang PSTD, facebook.com/mypstd. Sundan nyo po kami. Marami pa po kaming announcement about this para po ito sa inyo. Ito po ang mga hatak ni Luz at saka ni Lisa. No? Mga dati pong magkaka-office mates yan sa craft. So, ang chillax po natin ngayong weekend ay si LV Tarobal, ang ating pong Vice Chairperson for PSTD. Tapos si Marvin Cruz from Fresenius Medical Care Philippines. Saka si Risa Miagaw from Nielsen Philippines. So, tayo po ay mag-join sa bukas dito. Medyo maganda ang ating session. Ipaprocess nila ang mga learnings. My last point is on membership benefits. Ngayon po, ito po ay pinag-usapan namin ng napakahaba, no? And we want to be able to give as many people the deserved benefits that they have to become members of PSTD. And the reason why that is the case is because yung pong mga magagandang ginawa namin para sa inyo, para sa community, magtutuloy-tuloy lang po yon kung meron kaming perang pang-operate. So, tutulong po kayo sa amin, matutulungan nyo po yung mga tao na nakaka-access sa mga free learnings. And we are making it worth your money. So, ang equivalent po ng mga libre na ito, ang mga equivalent ng mga libre na ito ay nakikita nyo sa harapan nyo ngayon. Pero ang membership rate almost half lang. Okay? Wala pong lokohan yan. Totoo po yan. Yan po ang rated ngayon sa mga webinars. 500 pesos on the average. And we are going to give a lot of it free for you, and we're going to continue doing all of these things because we want to give people access to as much of this capacity and capability building things because the country needs us the most. Okay, 2 o'clock, saktong-sakto at swak sa banga. Ito po yung itipanan natin na magiging libre po sa mga members starting June. So pag naging member po kayo from June to December, libre po ang inyong itipanan session, 500 po yan isang tao. Libre po yan para sa corporate and individual members. Alright, ito po ang paano maging member. Punta po kayo sa www.pstd.org Tapos makikita nyo po sa lowest left portion, become a member, apply. Pwede nyo rin pong i-scan yung QR code, become a member, apply. So Lisa, kung hindi pa member ang URC, magpa-member na po kayo. So may benta sa'yo ng diretso eh, no? Okay, maraming salamat. Tapos na po ako sa aking 5 minutes. Now I want to introduce first our moderator. So baka po kala nyo ano lang po ito, no? Benefit lang sa PSTV or benefit lang po sa mga nanonood. Nagbe-benefit din po dito ang ating mga partners na tinutulungan tayo na gumawa ng mga training programs at also mag-moderate. Kasi bago nga po ito, no? Baka kala nyo madaling mag-moderate. So yung mga tao po na nagbabago-bago each day na nakikita nyo na moderator, yun po ay mga taong sumusubok kung paano po maging mas magaling na moderator. And we have none other than Miss Luz Mercurio, the godmother of all of our speakers. Miss Luz Mercurio is the CEO of StratLearn Consulting. She was the Learning and Development Leader of General Electric for ASEAN region and one of the master trainers of GE Crotonville Global Learning. She was also the Vice President of Talent Development in GE Consumer Finance. And she has worked with other multinational companies, especially on Semicon, as in Philips, as HR Regional Manager for Asia and Pacific, as well as Kraft and Monde Nissin. So Luz, bago ako dumaldal ng patuloy-tuloy, please take it away.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, John. So,
Good afternoon.
welcome to the session. Before we start, reminder lang po, no, to maximize our learning, we will be putting you all in mute. And then for those of you who would like to ask questions, we have the Q&A tab. It's at the bottom, middle bottom of your screens. And then if you want to get engaged and give your comments, we have the chat box. You can easily and freely, give us your inputs. And a lot of people are asking, do we give you certificates? The answer is yes. And we give the certificates to those who logged in sa Zoom. So, and then if you are participating for at least 40 minutes, you will receive your certificates also. And we encourage you to provide us your feedback. No, we will send you an email message about how you find the particular session. Every session we do that. No? Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Our topic is preparing your people for the new normal. Before we start, let's have a quick pulse on two things. First, we'd like to know how ready are you as an individual in moving to the general community quarantine? And then next question, how ready, in your opinion, how ready is your organization in moving to the general community quarantine? So
yes.
see here, we have put up the poll questions and invite you to give us your rating. 1 as least ready and 5 as extremely ready.
Yes, yan. So Luz, we have 109 people, 125 people answering na. That's 50%. In fairness, ang dami na nating like we're almost reaching at 300. We're almost reaching at 300 today, and I think more people are gonna call in. So we have 200 people na. Ang bilis lang kasi, no? Pero nakikita mo yung result? Nakikita niyo ni Lisa yung result? Hindi pa, no?
Wala pa.
Hindi kayo mabibigla. Wait lang. Hintayin lang natin mag 75%. It's already 72%.
Sige.
Okay, last 2. Okay, sige. I'm gonna end the polling na at 75%. That should be good. 200 na sample size. So for this specific question,
okay,
the result is this. Nabigla ba kayo?
Somewhat ready.
Oo, no? 51%. Somewhat ready. Let's do the next one.
For the organization naman, no?
Yes.
How they...
This one is for the organization.
Yeah.
Yan.
So how ready is your organization in moving to the general community quarantine?
Yes. Alam mo, ano ko dun sa result na 51% yung somewhat ready, no? So ibig sabihin, ang dami pa rin taong paralisado. No, Lisa?
Yeah.
Tulungan
natin sila.
Oo, first week pa lang. First week pa lang ng June.
Correct.
So, yeah.
And to think that a lot of people have been trying to mobilize their businesses na, no? So, tapos nasa somewhat ready pa rin tayo, 51%. On an individual level, ha? That's on an individual level. So, ibig sabihin, makikita natin if that is going to be reflective of organizational in a few minutes. We now have 70% of the responses, just waiting for 3 more percent para at least pag nag-75% tayo, medyo maganda. Ano na tayo? Ilan ang 300 na halos. 296 participants. Congratulations, Lisa.
Welcome
Siguro
everyone. Welcome
50%
everyone.
ba nito ay from Universal Rubin?
Mga kamag-anak ko yan dyan.
Mga fans ni Lisa yan, mga fans niya.
Ayan. Sige. I'm gonna show you the response na, the answer na to the poll.
Yeah.
I'm gonna share the results. So organizationally, ayan. Kita
Pareho.
nyo?
Same.
Oo. Almost the same, no? Galing.
Somewhat ready pa.
Correct. Alright.
Maybe,
Sige, so
maybe John, after a month, let's try this again.
Oo, we should, no? Para makita natin if may development, no? Okay, sige. I'm gonna stop the sharing na, Lu, so you and Lisa can go ahead.
Yeah, I can formally open the session.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Oo, as we move to the new normal, it is important to learn best practices from companies and of course leaders on how they are preparing their organization to adapt to the new business and work environment. Today, we are fortunate to have Elisa Abalajon, and she is our esteemed guest speaker. Lisa is the Vice President for Human Resources of Universal Rubina Corporation, or URC, with operations, of course, as we know, Philippines and Southeast Asia, China, Hong Kong, Australia, and New Zealand. Lisa also supports more than 200 employees and managers here and abroad. She also manages an HR team of 150 employees across different markets. Lisa used to work for Mondelez International as HR Director for Southeast Asia based in Singapore. Yan. And then prior to Mondelez, she used to work at Intel. One impressive fact about Lisa is that she is a lawyer by profession. So, dear learning and development colleagues, let me introduce and welcome Ms. Lisa Abalajon. Good afternoon, Lisa.
Good afternoon. Let me just share my slide.
Okay.
Sorry.
Ayan.
Sorry ha, pasensya na.
Okay lang, no worries. Alam mo, advance pa ang oras natin ha. Dahil mabilis kami natapos ni Luz ngayon kasi ordinarily medyo matagal akong magsalita. So ngayon, nakaka-recover na sa kakachika. Okay, sige, go ahead, Lisa.
Okay, simula na tayo. Sige, so first of all, I'd like to thank John and Luz for inviting me here. So it is actually my privilege to be part of this session. And when I was looking at the profile, I see educators, I see trainers, I see managers. So it's a very diverse group that we have here. And I hope that it's not just me sharing, but I hope you guys also share with me para mutual ang ating learning, no? Which is really what this is all about. So let me introduce first my company so that kilala niyo yung kung saan ako nagtatrabaho. URC, I think, was mentioned by John and Luz as a company that operates in the region, which is really across Asia Pacific. We're a key player in the region, and if you look at the categories we're in snacks, we're in beverage, noodles, confectionery, chocolates. So anything that pleases consumers, will offer it to them. The way we operate is that we operate where the consumers or our customers are. So that's why we have a lot of manufacturing facilities and warehouses across the globe. Right now we have around 14,000 organic employees, and we also have a significant number of third party that supports our operations. So this is who we are as a company, and I'm pleased to share with you some of the learnings and insights that our company gathered and are currently living as a result of this crisis. So I hope that you also learn from our experience. So the way I'm gonna do this session para cluster tayo, para maganda yung ating learning, is that ika-cluster ko siya sa tatlong buckets. No? We'll start off with leadership, and then we'll talk about employee commitment, and then we'll talk about agility and resilience. Leadership is very, very important, especially in a crisis, kasi leadership sets the tone. Kung wala tayong leaders, mahirap tayong gumalaw kasi hindi natin alam yung direction, no? What about where the company is heading to. So we'll talk about leadership and what are the critical attributes that are very important when you're in a crisis such as what we're currently facing. The second element is employee commitment. So ano ba yung sabihin nun? Why is it that we need to get that to sustain operations? Bakit importante na yung mga tao natin, katabi natin, tumutulong, para sa ganon, mabigay natin kung anong serbisyo at saka produkto na kailangan ng ating mga kababayan. So we'll talk about what that means from a corporate setup. And finally, so far I've talked about the crisis. I think it's important to also talk about the future. The last part of my session is going to talk about how do we ensure the future of the company? How do we ensure that we continue to be relevant to our business, to our community, and to our society? So that's really about agility and resilience. So yan yung tatlong elemento na pag-uusapan natin, and I hope that you also share what your learnings have been through the crisis, and if it matches with what we've experienced in URC. So let's start off with leadership. So madaming klase na elemento na pwede natin pag-usapan when we talk about leadership. But I just want to focus on three that I think are very relevant and proven. Kasi ito yung nakita ko that our leaders were demonstrating in URC during the crisis and even up to now. The first one is about candor. The second one is about empathy. And the third one is about resolve. So iisa-isahin natin yan, and magbibigay ako ng mga examples of how they demonstrated these three critical attributes as we go through my presentation. So candor, ano ba yung sabihin ng candor? Why is it important in a crisis? So this is Prime Minister Lee. If you like watching CNN or if you like looking at Facebook, so he's very prominent, and a lot of Singaporeans actually look up to him. He used to be the son of Lee Kuan Yew. You know Lee Kuan Yew, siya yung father of Singapore, and he's actually living up to the name of his father. So Prime Minister Lee is an epitome of a leader who is calm, who is a very good communicator. He's very pragmatic, and he's very smart. Now, when he was starting to realize the impact of COVID-19 to his country, he decided to face the crowd, face his constituents, and address them via. He was in Facebook, he was in TV, he was everywhere. And the reason why he was doing that is because he wanted everyone to understand what the crisis impact is for the country. So he wants people to know, ano ba yung current realities? Ano ba talaga yung nangyayari? What are the risks involved in a crisis such as this? So he was demonstrating candor because he was being honest. He was being very transparent of what the crisis means and what the impact could be for the Singaporeans. But he was exercising it in a way that he was also reassuring. He was also telling his kababayan na ito yung sitwasyon natin, pero meron tayong plano, meron tayong gagawin. At ito yung gagawin ko. This is what I plan to do. And if it works, ito yung mangyayari. If it doesn't work, may plan B ako. So he was very honest and transparent, but at the same time, he was also very reassuring. He was calming a lot of the anxieties that people were feeling at that time. And at the end of his session, that particular presentation he made, there was a general consensus of calmness. People believed in him, people trusted his word, and people actually followed social distancing, a lot of the things that he was sharing. So that's candor. And I think when you're in a crisis such as this, you need leaders like that. Hindi lang yung leaders that will be transparent and open, but leaders that can be reassuring, who has a plan and who is very confident, no, to say it to his people without fear of being let down. So that's candor. The second element of leadership that I want to discuss with you is empathy. Ngayon, empathy, I think everybody knows, no? I mean, a lot of leadership books, a lot of leadership sessions talk about empathy as a very critical leadership element. But the empathy I'm referring to here is a very different kind of empathy. This empathy is the one that drives people decisions during a period of crisis. This is not just an empathy of you're actively listening, you're reassuring, you're recognizing the feeling of others. This empathy is you listen, you understand, and then you act. You act based on what you've heard. You act based on what is right for the people. So this is empathy that drives action. This is empathy that makes the right people decision. And I'll share with you what we did in URC. Sa URC, nung unang nagkaroon ng ECQ, nung binigyan na direksyon ng ating gobyerno na magkakaroon tayo ng community quarantine, a lot of our employees were really fearful of going back to work. Takot talaga sila. Because hindi nila naiintindihan kung ano yung nangyayari, hindi nila alam how it will impact their health and safety, hindi nila alam how it will impact their families. No? So, there was a time that our attendance sa mga planta namin, offices namin, was really down. At that week that the ECQ was announced, our attendance was only 32%. So paano kami makakapagserbisyo sa ating mga consumers, sa mga customers natin, sa mga kababayan natin kung hindi kami papasok? So ang ginawa ng mga managers namin, mga liderato namin, ng aming HR, is iniintindi namin bakit ayaw niyo pumasok? Ano bang pwede natin gawin? So we were listening, we were digesting what they were saying, and we came up with a number of interventions to support that. So yung first question sa amin paano kung magkasakit kami? What if we get sick? Anong support ay magagawa ng kumpanya para sa amin? So that was the first question. Kaya takot silang lumabas kasi hindi nila alam ano mangyayari if they get sick. So this is where the company acted on the feedback, and we said, meron tayong HMO, meron tayong medical benefits. Kausapin natin yung supplier natin, baka they could extend to cases related to COVID kasi out of scope yan. Yung ganyang mga klaseng scenarios. So naintindihan ng supplier namin, and then we were able to communicate to them na don't worry, we're here for you, we will support you. And kung gusto niyo may kausap kayo, we also set up telemedical services. Tawagan niyo lang. There's a doctor, a physician, a nurse, people from the health profession who can talk to you. And if you're really feeling angst, medyo kabado ka, takot ka, hindi mo alam, hindi ka mapakali, you can also call a number for to reach our medical practitioners who can share insights on how you can manage your anxiety through our mental health wellness. So in-explain namin, communicate namin what we are here for and how we partner with them in this situation. And I think that really reassured our people. And then yung next question naman nila is, okay, go na kami. We believe that this is the right thing to do. Papasok na kami. Pero nagkaroon ng restrictions, di ba? Madami tayong mga local government that impose a number of restrictions. So hindi din sila makapasok. So they wanted to come, but they just can't do it, because there was no public transportation. So thinking about the situation of their employees, we said, okay, let's offer shuttle. Let's help them. Let's provide access so that they can continue to work and be paid. So we offer them shuttles. And for those na malayo yung bahay, we also offer them temporary lodgings. And ayaw na namin sila magka-problema, mag-iisip pa kung ano, we also offer them free meals. So that's how we sort of help them so that they can be assured that we're always there for them. And then finally, we also told them that alam niyo yung health and safety niyo, that's your accountability. So meron kaming gagawin para sa inyo, you have to support yourself as well. And we provided them with tools so that they own their own health and safety. That's why we provided them with vitamins and hygiene. And so from the time on, our attendance has been improving, and we're close to almost 90% this week. And so empathy is a very good element for you to tap into, for you to understand concerns and employees and make decisions, make the appropriate decisions for the company and for the employee. So you know example how empathy actually works, even in a business setting. The third element, leadership element or attribute that is actually very important in the crisis, what I call resolve. Yung gagawin at gagawin tapos yung issue, para ma-address yung issue. And if you look back on the history of many outbreaks, whether it's Spanish flu, Asian flu, Hong Kong flu, or even SARS and MERS, which are recent outbreaks, makikita mo that may peak, nagpipeak siya, and then bababa siya. And the history is showing that typically, nare-resolve yung issue na yon 3 months after the peak escalation. And the reason why it happened is because there is leadership. There's leadership that's driving, that's planning, and taking actions. I'll give you an example of what happened in China and Hong Kong. No? Kasi China, this year, sila talaga yung nauna. No? Sila yung naka-experience ng pandemic at the start. And Hong Kong was being part of China also experienced that. No? So papakita ko how the China and Hong Kong government addressed the issue and how it impacted URC's performance in those two countries. As mentioned by Luz, meron din kaming planta, meron kaming sales office sa China, at may sales office kami sa Hong Kong. So nakita namin in our very own eyes how leadership actually translates into performance. So yung China, as we know, nag-lockdown yan in January, sa Wuhan. That's where it started. It was also the time that Hong Kong took action, started wearing masks. And at the time, remember yung World Health Organization was saying, don't wear mask kasi kulang nga yung mask. Huwag kayong mag-wear ng mask. Mag-wear lang kayo ng mask kung may sakit kayo. No? But Hong Kong didn't follow that. No? They actually started wearing masks because they experienced SARS in 2013. They learned from that. And they took note of what needs to be done in a crisis such as this. So they were acting based on their experience, their learnings from SARS, and they're applying it, even if it was contrary to public opinion. Okay, and then February was when China actually did a lockdown. So kung makikita mo yung performance namin, nagpo-follow siya kung anong ginagawa ng gobyerno. So February was the full lockdown in China, and our net sales at that time was below 53%. Baksak talaga yung negosyo namin. Hong Kong, on the other hand, we're still doing well. No? Namamanage ng Hong Kong, again, because they had experiences that they were using. No? They learned from the past, and they're building their plans based on those learnings. And then pagdating ng March, nag-reopen in China. It was about 70 to 80% close to normal. And then, it was already almost normal as far as they're concerned. And nakikita din namin sa performance ng kumpanya namin sa China, nag-i-improve kami. They're like double-digit growth, 38% growth in March, and there were 88% growth in April. I guess I'm showing this because I want to demonstrate that a country or a business unit or a company, if they demonstrate the right leadership, the right resolve, the drive to make things happen, they can really make things happen. And the common governance factor, whether it's China, Hong Kong, or URC, China, Hong Kong, was the speed of making decisions. They were very decisive. Once they have a plan, they just push themselves to deliver to that. And so that's what I say. What I say is resolve, no? The will to make things happen. So ulitin ko lang, no? So matatapos na tayo sa leadership. 3 leadership elements or attributes are very critical to crisis. The first one is candor. Second one is empathy, and the third one is resolve. So very, very important elements in a crisis. Now, we talked a lot about leadership, and I think leadership is a very important thing to inspire commitment. But I think there is something within employees or even individuals that I think stems from a higher purpose. And if you're able to tap into that higher purpose of each individual, you don't need a lot of interventions. They themselves would pick up and work with you and ensure that things will happen. Early during the crisis, one of the things that we agreed as a leadership team is that we have to be principle-based. We have to anchor our actions based on a purpose. And we identified 3 purposes that we will ensure happens, that will govern our actions during the crisis. The first one is we said that we're not here for ourselves. We are here because there's a higher social purpose that we're fulfilling. URC provides essential food and beverage products. And if you look at who our consumers are lower middle class Filipino people. Hindi mga consumers namin yung mga mayayaman. Yung mga consumers namin ay yung masaya sa simpleng snacking, simpleng beverage, great taste, Jack and Jill, diba? Chippy. So nasasayahan sila sa ganong klaseng pagkain at inumin. And so our role as a manufacturer is to make sure that we deliver to that commitment, that we continue to give them what they ask of us. The second purpose is to ensure that we build this organization for the long term, for the long haul. URC is part of a bigger group. No, we're part of JG Summit. And JG Summit, you have Cebu Pacific, you have the malls, the hotels, the Robinsons Bank. Madami yan, ano? We're a group of companies. And in this crisis, ang dami sa aming kumpanya na apektado kasi we're into airline, hotels na we know that tourism is really down during this crisis. So our role as URC is to support our holding company during this time. And that's also sort of motivating us to continue delivering kahit mahirap, kahit alam namin madaming restrictions sa transportation, kahit we are fearful of the infections, we still continue doing it because we're doing it not just for ourselves, but we're doing it for others. And finally, our last purpose is really about people. So we also said when we make decisions that balances both the business as well as the personal welfare of our people. So if it will not work for either of those two, then we have to rethink whether we want to do it or not. And people is our first consideration in this crisis. Ganun ka-importante yung people sa kumpanya namin. So this is I just took a picture of our URC portal. And dun makikita mo yung some of the articles that we write. And we always communicate about these 3 purposes. So yung supply chain namin, they're always there to ensure that we supply even if there's ECQ. Yung business namin, we also support the frontline heroes. In fact, meron kaming grupo, yung technical group namin, they developed a face shield na mura that we're giving through our GBF, through our foundation. And madaming technical groups are thinking of many ways that they can support our frontliners. And on the people side, we're always reminding people to stay fit, keep themselves cool, stay safe, and there's always the message that really, it really comes from up, down, down, up, and across the organization. I think everybody in this crisis are really just holding hands making sure that all colleagues at any levels of the organization are given the message that we care for you. So that's sort of what we're doing to ensure business continuity and how we support the people.
Thank you, Lisa. There
Yes.
are comments here. Let me just acknowledge them. So from Christian, mental health, wellness is indeed very important, especially in this very stressful and psychologically draining siya talaga, sabi niya. And Maximo said, great company, empathetic to employees, and you're giving your health benefits talaga to them. One question lang, how does URC, so from JP Tanyag, how does URC protect the mental health of their workers given some of the workers are considered frontliners and still working in the factories making food products necessary for people? Yun.
So good question kasi that's very relevant, Luz. In fact, bago pa COVID, relevant na siya. Diba alam natin na madami sa ating members of the community who are actually already suffering psychologically for one reason or the other, and that's a growing trend, no? Hindi lang sa Pilipinas but in many markets. So what URC did was we actually commissioned a group, and we can share the name of the group later on if there's an interest in this team. So yung grupo na yon, they're helping us take calls. So kung may mga tao kami who feels that they just want to talk to somebody or help somebody sort out what's going on in their minds, we have a number that people call, and based on the initial conversation that they have with the consultant, may mga series of consultations na that we give for free. Kasi we realize na hindi lang physical yung wellness, di ba? Hindi lang about learning or about being fit. It's really there's also an issue on health, on mental health. And so yun ang ginagawa namin. We encourage them to connect with this provider that we have kasi technical din siya, no? Hindi siya madali i-manage yung ganong klaseng problema. So we have that, no? But even within URC, I think it's a family. One thing I love about this company, it's a family. So there is a network of people that you can talk to, that you can be comfortable sharing. And I think even within my HR team, para kaming may problema, the person that you can connect with. So may network, may community, may ecosystem even within the company to support employees. So I hope that answered that question.
Thank you. So from Marilu, she said, how I wish that all companies is like how you manage, no? In this time of pandemic, it is very important to know that your company is there and eager to support their people. Ganda na sinabi niya.
Masarap pakinggan, Luz.
Yeah, we are learning, no, that talagang may company like URC, talagang pinlano, no, how to take care of not just the organization but yung critical asset, yung people. Now, alam mo may study na ni-release yung AC Nielsen May 19, just a few days ago. Tapos, in 850 people responded to this question. Sabi, what will your business focus on as we enter the new normal? And 3% said they will increase digital investments. And then 29% noted that they need to continue to improve and adapt or adjust supply chain. And of course, interestingly, 16% will launch and adjust innovative pipeline relevant to sa URC, no? Ito rin interesting, 12% lang nagsabi they will protect cash flow and margin. So I'd like you to comment on this result, no?
Yeah, in fact, that's going to be part of my the last part of my session, but I'll respond to it na, no? So tama yung Nielsen, madaming kumpanya that right now is relooking at their strategies. So they're looking ways of innovating based on the new consumer or shopper behaviors. Kasi ngayon yung mga consumer natin, hindi na sila nagpupunta ng mall kasi close yung mall, di ba? So wala silang pupuntahan. So they like delivery, di ba? And then, syempre, pag hindi sila lumalabas, ano yung mga kinakain nila sa loob? No? So even the way you look at consumers and our shoppers are changing because the behaviors are changing. Di ba sabi nga nila, it takes 21 days to change a habit or to create a habit. Eh tayo naka 2 months na tayo naka-quarantine eh. Di ba? So just imagine the behaviors that are being created as we speak. Kasi 2 months na tayo naka-quarantine. So may mga new behaviors that really coming out as a result of this crisis that we need to know and understand. We need to get those insights. Kasi yung insights na yun yung magpropel sa atin, gumawa ng ano yung produkto na pwede natin ibigay para sa kanila, na masasayahan sila. So there's a change on the way we look at our products, so the way we innovate. So that's one. And then the second one is dahil madaming walang transportation, madaming close na mga malls, paano pumupunta yung mga consumers or end users natin at bumibili ng pagkain o beverage, di ba? So pinag-aaralan din yun. So that's why yung online, madaming online sales. So nag-iiba din yung tinatawag nilang route to market, or how do you reach your consumers? Yeah, so nag-iiba din siya. So even our salespeople are rethinking the way they usually do. Kasi before, rumorota yan, diba? Pumupunta sa sari-sari store. Ngayon, hindi na rin magawa kasi nga, bawal din, diba? So even the way you reach your customers is different. Ngayon, yung issue on, you said nga that there's only a certain percentage really looking at cash preservation. We're doing that. I think all companies have to be very prudent on how they manage their resources. And so, but the thing is, you don't stop paying people, right? You don't stop paying your services. I think those are given. But you have to be prudent in a way that you have to know what are essential, what is core, what is it that will drive your business. Hindi na tayo pwede na, dahil we do a lot on marketing, we do a lot of advertising, that we will do that. Ngayon nga, wala na nga ABS-CBN, diba? So mahirap naman mag-advertise. Even that changes the way we operate, not even in marketing. So madami talaga nagbago, Luz. And I'll share a little bit of what we've done to revise our strategies to adapt to the norm, the new norm later. Yan yung topic natin later. Meron pang mga tanong, Luz, kasi I thought I could talk about the future. How do we
this one maganda to, no? Sabi ni JP Tanya, given the diversity of workers and the varying experience of each and every worker in this pandemic, what shall be the best practice to check and attend to their concerns without compromising privacy? Oo nga, no? Importante, no? Pantayan natin. Privacy.
Oo, tama naman.
Ginagawa yun sa URC.
Oo. So I think one is, meron din kasing mga regulations ng gobyerno natin, no, that we need, for example, they want us to declare yung health kung saan pa tayo nag-travel, diba? May sakit pa tayo, diba? Yung gobyerno natin themselves are asking those questions. And I think they're easing up some of the restrictions that normally is there for data privacy. Kasi in a pandemic like this, kailangan natin i-trace kung meron tayong, for example, na empleyado nagkasakit, knock on wood na who's a COVID positive, dapat malaman natin kung saan siya nagpunta, kung sino yung mga contacts niya. Para sa ganon, matulungan din natin yung mga taong posible na infect, no? As a result of that. So I think at this time, yung traceability is very important kasi kailangan nating malaman kung saan nagpunta yung tao. And I think employees understand it. Employees understand why we need to do it. I think what's important is people know why we need to do this, why it's important, not just for the safety of one individual, but just the safety of many. That we need to share a bit of information para safe tayong lahat. No? I think communication is helping. I think government easing up some of the restriction is important. I think also if people see that you're responsible with the data, na hindi ka na makukuha ng data just for the sake of data, getting data, but you getting data because there's a reason behind it. Sinasabi nga natin social purpose. I think people understand it because of that.
Oo. Ito, may interesting question dito, no, from an anonymous attendee. Kasi ang tanong niya, how do you promote psychological safety in the company? For example, I am an employee. I ask, kailan ko marireceive yung salary ko? Tapos, am I entitled to hazard pay? May group ba of employees na, may mga group ng employees ba na nagtatanong ng mas worse pa dito or demand something? And then, how do you handle yung mga ganitong questions and situations ng mga employees?
Yeah. So, yung mga questions niya, tinatanong talaga yan, Luz. I think it's normal for people to ask about that. And we always respond with candor. Yang sinasabi ko, candor is very important. Kasi you have to state facts, you have to state your realities, and then you say it in a way that people understand where you're coming from. And so what we do, in fact, every day nagmi-meet kami ng HR team. This is the first time that I'm so close to my HR team, but we're not physically together. Kasi every 11 a.m. every day, we talk about. Yes. So they will share aning direction, aning issues ng mga tao. We do that every day since March. No, so we're very much together in solving some of these issues that you've raised. Every day din, nagmi-meeting kami ng the entire leadership team of URC. So 9 a.m. sila, HR naman 11. So I guess the way we handle this is we, first of all, there's close looping of issues. We understand issues every day, where it comes from. And every day we try to resolve it as fast as we could. I think yung resiliency and agility that is happening that actually it really is enabling us to resolve issues quickly and address issues before it becomes full-blown. So that's sort of how we do it.
Thank you, Lisa. That's all for now.
All right. So far, I've talked about business continuity, how do we ensure that we operate the business during crisis. What I'm going to talk about now, in maybe the last 15 minutes of this session is, so ano yung future? No? What are we going to do for the future? So yun naman yung question na sasagutin natin. I already talked about agility and resilience, no? Kasi yung two words na yon are what is very critical naman to ensure the future. So there are 4 pointers, no, that I want to share with you, and I think these things you can also apply on your personal life. If you want, if you're in a situation where you're in a bind, di mo alam gagawin mo kasi what used to be your role, baka hindi na siya relevant during this time. And I think how you readjust yourself is going to be very important, for your future. So these tips could also apply to people on their personal lives. So I think first one is you have to accept the change. You have to realize that things is not going to be the same anymore. It will change. Kung before nakakagala ka and anywhere you want to go, ngayon alam naman natin hindi. And you have to accept the change. The second one is you have to observe, you have to listen, you have to capture as many learnings as you get, kasi those learnings are going to serve you well when you start planning for your future. And the third is, so accept mo na yung change, you learn from the crisis, adjust na tayo. No? Adjust na tayo sa new realities na we're facing. And the third plan is, let's put all of those plans in writing, or put it in our strategies para hindi natin sila makakalimutan. So kinapture mo yung learnings, nag-adjust ka, and then ipasok mo siya sa business plans mo para it becomes more sustaining. So I'll talk a little bit more of how we did this in URC. On accepting change. So, kailangan talaga tayo mag-face mask. No? Even if GCQ tayo, kailangan pa rin tayo mag-face mask. We don't know when this crisis will last. So there are certain things that we need to continue doing. We need to continue our sanitation, our hygiene. We might need to continue social distancing. And kung alam natin yung constraints natin in this kind of an environment, it enables us to think differently. No? And some things that actually we did differently, and I think many of you also experienced it, is dahil ang dami nating constraints, like hindi tayo makapunta sa office natin, kung head office ka, or kunyari, you're working in a plant, hindi ka rin makapunta as you used to, so you have to be provided shuttles, no? So you capture all of those learnings, and you realize for people in the office like myself who have been working from home for 2 months na-realize ko na I can actually do remote working and still be productive. Bakit? So you have to understand, bakit nag-work naman pala, no? I'm productive even if I'm working from home. And so you understand, what made it work. Capture that because that's going to be useful as you try to understand what the new norm will be. There was a Nielsen study you mentioned, Luz, about digital, and it's real. That's why digital na tayo ngayon, hindi tayo face-to-face, diba? Wala tayo sa isang room that we're physically together. But then we can collaborate. Nag-uusap tayo, Luz, nag-uusap tayo ni John, and you guys even chat with around 300 people in this call. Can you imagine that? Because of this crisis, we're now put in a situation where we have to do digital collaboration. And in fact, if you think about it, you can expand the conversation to 300 people. Unlike before, we were so limited to in a room, in a convention center. Now we can invite as many people as we want, get as many people to join. And that's, again, part of the learning. I guess the third one is that this is a time when you have to stretch imagination. You have to be resourceful. You have to really think differently. And I'll share with you some of the things that my HR team actually did, no? When they stretched their imagination, knowing the constraints they're in. So this is an example. So we're so lucky. It's a bit of an eyesore, no? But it just shows the journey of our learning and development team in URC. We're lucky that we invested in a learning management system sometime in Q4 of last year. And kung makikita mo yung journey namin, from just 500 users, we're now close to 3,000 users in a span of around 8 months. And dito talaga natuto din kami. Natuto kami mag-curate. Natuto kami mamili ng mga articles we post in our learning management system. Natuto kami to look up TED Talks. Yung mga hindi mo kailangang gumastos, di ba? I-curate mo lang what's already out there in Facebook, in other social media platforms. And then you tap on that so that you continue the learnings of your team. So hindi kailangan tayo na gumagastos lagi. We can curate and get what is freebies. No? Like in this case, I'm learning from this session and people are being pulled here. No? It's a free webinar. So we try to leverage on that. This is what is interesting. No? So I have an ER, employee relations officer, and he was in charge of sports, diba? Company events. So paano yun wala nang physical interactions. Paano ka gagawa ng employee relations na walang sports, di ba? Saray tayo, Mother's Day, na meron tayong programa para sa mga mothers natin. So he and his team and his colleagues actually created what we call a URC Circle, which is a virtual engagement. So they decided, why don't we tap the Facebook, right? Let's have a private Facebook and let's invite as many URC employees. Tapos let's connect with them. Let's have activities in this platform. And so we just started this in April, and in a month's time, it's now 536, and it's growing. I guess it's again one way of adjusting to new realities. Now, things that you can't do in the past, you have to accept it, learn from it, and then adjust yourself and make yourself relevant. I guess this is an example of one of the adjustments we made on based on new realities. And so I'm on my last 2 slides. No, so this is the changes we made in our business plans. I can't share you the total business plans because a lot of it is really confidential. But these are things that are relevant, at least for this topic. No, so on people, we said that we need to rethink about the workplace. It has to be a digital workplace because you're learning using digital. You're doing engagement digital. halos onboarding is digital. So we need to really make sure what that digital workplace is going to look like in the future. Quality, health, and safety are important. I think we realize that those three things can stop a business. And so we need to heighten that. In supply chain, we need to simplify processes. We need to automate. And we have, experience in namin that we were operating at a lesser headcount. And we said, pwede pala. No, we can be lean and still operate. For our brands and our products, realize that now our consumers want brands with a purpose. Hindi lang masarap, pero yung meron kang posisyon na gusto mong iparating sa mga consumers mo. And on our sales, like I mentioned, online selling na ngayon, no? And now we're looking at people who stays mostly in the house. So how do we serve them? How do we sell to them? So that's where I'm going to pause for a while, Luz. And maybe there are some other comments because I'm on my last slide.
Okay.
After.
From Lisa, no, sabi niya, I agree po, embrace the change, accept it, though it is not that easy because it takes a lot of adjustments. So teacher siya, so sabi niya, sa part daw yan ng both teachers tsaka ng learners. And then, a question from an anonymous attendee. I think you partially answered this, no? Has the URC office already changed or redesigned its physical setup in compliance with COVID-19 prevention in the workplace?
Yes. Matindi ang ginagawa namin sa workplace namin. So we haven't done our re-entry. Pero antindi, like isang buwan, actually 1.5 months na namin pinag-usapan. So we did a time in study motion, tama ba yun? Where we understand, ilan ba pwedeng kumasya sa elevator? Kasi may social distancing. Paano ba yung flow ng traffic sa loob ng opisina para hindi sila magkakatama? So we have a traffic flow management, and then yung tables namin, we made sure there's 1 meter apart. So what used to be a workspace that can accommodate 1,300 can only accommodate 600 because of the social distancing. And what's interesting is that since people are working from home and we're not using our office, na-realize namin that we don't really need a big office space. In fact, that's part of what we're going to study. Kasi based on our study, baka 300 na lang out of the 1,300 ang kailangan pumasok on a regular basis. So those are the questions we're asking ourselves now, that I think it will have an impact on the workplace.
From Katie, given the pandemic situation, do you still continue people development activities or training? Or was it deprioritized? Actually,
learning is the most important capability, one of the most important interventions right now. I showed you the digital journey, and there are more than, I think, 3,000 people now who wants to learn and develop. So, may mga trainings kami on COVID, may trainings kami on wellness. So very active on learning and develop. In fact, they're so energized by the whole thing that they're also rethinking the way they deliver their trainings in a digital workspace. No? So something like a webinar like this is something we're also doing internally. So yes, very active on L&D, even up to now.
Isa pang tanong, are URC employees that are not able to report to work tagged as no work, no pay?
So during the early part of COVID, nung hirap talaga yung transportation, we were not offering as many company shuttle service. We were very lax on our attendance. So we allowed them to use emergency leave. No? So may mga leaves that we were letting them use. Ngayon kasi we added like close to 100 shuttles on top of what we were used to offer. So we're making it easy for them to actually report for work. And so, as I mentioned, as of this week, we're close to 90% attendance. So attendance is not an issue for us at the moment. And I think whatever we were doing before is really working.
Okay, one last question. URC is big. What's your advice dun sa mga companies with limited resources? This is a question from Rafael Luis Lopez. No? How do you act on the problem with limited resources?
Yeah. So yung China-Hong Kong business namin sa URC, actually, maliit na business yon. And because maliit sila, alam mo naman, di ba, sa pag maliit ka, maliit din yung pondo mo, maliit din yung budget mo. So they didn't have a lot of advertising, marketing spends, promotions, no? But what made, nakita niyo naman yung business performance nila, 38% increase in terms of sales. And it was really because of the drive. So I guess ang punto ko lang is that when you're constrained, like many of us, even us were constrained, you tend to be more resourceful. You tend to be creative. And so my advice to smaller companies or medium-sized companies is you have to think differently. Iba na talaga yung mundo natin ngayon. And in the new normal, like what I said, lahat ngayon nga nasa tatrabaho na sa bahay, di ba? So that's an indicator na baka ganun din para makaiwas din ng gastos. How can you be productive in a way na you minimize a lot of this cost, no? So I think you guys need to start thinking on that space.
Thank you, Lisa. So we are 3 minutes na, no, away from target the end of this session. Any final thoughts about what's happening and how you see things and key learnings pala, no, from what you have been doing in the past few months and projection?
Galing mo, Luz, kasi yun yung last slide ko.
Yes.
Yun, my personal learnings. Natuhog mo siya. Okay. So 3 things, no, that I learned during this crisis, and I've shared many of them with you. No, I think leadership is really critical, and I shared with you the 3 ones that I think were the most important. So for our mentors, coaches, educators, trainers in this call, your role is very important, because you're the ones who develop people for leadership positions. And I think the only thing we need to do is how do we develop them in such a way that we are still doing it in a very relevant way. The second one is every week, every month, there are things that are happening. Diba? Nag-ECQ, the MECQ, hindi natin alam kung ano yung next condition natin. So external conditions are really changing. So capture learnings. No? I always say that, no? You have to capture, you have to observe, you have to act on learnings, and then adjust. No? And this is what will spell the difference between success and failure, is your ability to change, to be resilient, to learn from lessons of the past and adjust and plan accordingly. And the last one, and I shared with you an example of the changes we're making on engagement. You have to figure out on how you can make a difference, but maybe in a different way. Not in the same way that you used to do in the past, but in a way that is relevant to the times. So that's it for me, Luz. I think this is my last slide. So I hope this has been a very good session for all.
Thank you very much, Lisa. So I'll just summarize the key learnings here. So the key elements to enable adjustments to the new normal. Number 1, we need strong leadership to set the tone. No? Number 2, we need engaged employees who are committed to sustain operations and of course achieve quick wins. Importante yun. Third, we need agile and resilient individuals to ensure we adapt quickly to rapid changes that are happening around us. So these 3 will definitely help us ensure better future for everyone na siya. No? So we'd like to thank you, Lisa, for joining us this afternoon. It's very enriching to have you. Marami kang fans dito, sabi
Mga kamag-anak ko yan, Luz.
Thank you so much. So I'd like to turn over the slides to John for final reminders on what's going to happen for PSTD in the future.
Hi, Luz. Well, actually, I don't have any, I will not show any slides na. I think it's worth it for the people to see Lisa, you, and me on the screen because of this very lovely and useful session. Lisa, let me thank you from the bottom of our hearts and the community that we have right now on our backing. All 370, 380 people who are watching in Zoom and around 170 going 200 people watching in Facebook, if you saw it in live. And I think one of the things that I'd like to say to you is, ang ganda ng embodiment mo ng tatlong concepts of leadership. yung candor, yung empathy, and then the resolve part. Parang especially when you were discussing the different portions of your presentation, you give me so much hope na there's really something to look out for after this pandemic. That this pandemic will be solved because of leaders like you. So maraming salamat for being with us today and sharing those experiences to our audience who are listening to us every week, with our sessions. Maraming salamat, Lisa. And Luz, thank you for bringing Lisa to us. I mean, and all of the other people who you're bringing in so that all of us will be able to learn from them. Maraming salamat. This is making a big impact on the society. I want to share everyone that before I went to this call, I was talking to Vanessa Trower. Vanessa Trower was one of our speakers from the Australia Institute of Training Development. And when I was talking to her, she said, "Na John, do you know that what you have right now, the community that you're running every week, the attendees that you're having, this is a bit unique to you in the Philippines, in what you're doing with your community. Because here in Australia, I haven't seen anything like that. I also have in contact other speakers in the world, and they haven't seen movements just like what we're doing right now. And I think that's one of the beauties of what we're trying to give to our community, no? We are getting you speakers that show you bits of reality every day that we can digest. And we're showing them directly to you so that you will see that these realities are things that we have to embrace. Ang ganda nung point ni Lisa kanina. She said na wala naman tayong ibang choice eh. Kailangan nating gumalaw kasi leadership din naman ang end all and be all nito. And the sad part right now is a lot of our leaders are not accepting some realities mainly because of that paralysis part. And that's normal. And what we do for PSTD and what you are getting right now from all of these insights, from all of these stories, from all of these sharings, are realities that we have to embrace. Kasi baka mamaya kayo yung leader. O kaya baka mamaya kayo yung tutulong dun sa leader. Baka mamaya kayo yung nandun sa taas na kailangan yung gumalaw at mapagalaw yung iba. Pare-pareho tayong paralisado. So I hope this can be an inspiration to you. And I hope you can share your stories to others. Kasi nakita nyo meron tayong gimmick na Write, Inspire, and Win. Yung Write, Inspire, and Win na yun, kahit na maiksing story lang ma-share nyo sa iba, ang laking bagay. Nandito si Daryl, nag-share siya ng story as an Army reservist and he used to be a manager in a call center. Tapos right now, he is in Cebu. Diba? He is in Cebu trying to do volunteer work because he was displaced. And right now, PSTD and all of these learnings are being a significant part of his life. So sana po, ma-share nyo yung mga kwento nyo, katulad ng pag-share ni Lisa ng kwento niya sa URC to all of us and how generous it is.